So, in this incredible God that we serve, Satan gives dark dreams, anti-color dreams. He gives no color dreams, which would be anti-color dreams. God gives brilliant, pure color in dreams. So when you have a dream, then you say, well, what do colors mean? I mean, how do I know? What does red mean? I had red in the dress, and what did that mean? I had a blue car that I was riding in, and what did that mean? I had, well, that goes in longer than the time we got today. But if you read the scripture, you'll find out why, and a hint is in the colors of the stones and the breastplate of the high priest. Why didn't they use one color for all the tribes? So the key to that is understanding how each tribe was described. Read the blessings given by Jacob over his sons. Read what Abraham said about the future. Read what Isaac said about his son. You start reading this, you go, oh, I get it. Okay, so now Jacob was this color, and he had these character traits. And Isaac was, and Reuben was this color because he had these character traits. And Issachar was this color because he had these character traits. And Benjamin was this color because he had these character traits. And all of a sudden you go, I know what that color means. It's all in the Bible. We just tend to overlook stuff. We just tend to overlook it. We read it like, what meaning does that have? It has a lot of meaning. Okay, so let's have a few dreams, and we'll see if we can do some right on the spot dream interpretation stuff. Okay, right back here, right behind you, right there. Yeah, you had. Would you come up here so I can hear you? But let me just say this: they need to be about a paragraph long. We don't have time for sagas. And some dreams can be saga-like, long reams of paper. Boil it down to a paragraph, and we'll kind of go with there. So if you can, and our roving reporter with the microphone will.
Well, I'll have a dream, and I don't want to name the individual.
Okay.
Because it is a prominent pastor.
Okay.
Let me first preface this by saying I had no relational tie to this particular ministry, and this happened maybe less than a year ago. I dreamed that this particular pastor died. For some reason, I was in California, where the ministry is, and I realized that he had died, and I was going to his funeral. For some weird reason, this pastor was living in what we call the projects. I went and peered in the window of his home. His home was beautiful on the inside. At that point, his wife and his child or children had left. Once they heard his death, they just fled. I remember not having the proper clothes because it was almost like I was on vacation for the funeral, and I remember getting this really ugly dress with these multicolors in them and going to his funeral. When I reached the funeral, there were people there. There were spectators there. I remember the casket. The casket was used. It was a brown wooden casket, but
so not a new casket.
Not a new casket. It had a lot of dings and bangs on it. You could tell it had been used. In my dream, a particular star paid for the funeral. And when we went into the church, there were children in the church, but they were deformed in some type of way. And I saw the children. Some didn't have legs. Some were normal, but most of them were deformed. And it was almost, they wanted to perform. I don't know if they were going to sing or whatever at this funeral. this particular pastors, all the pastors had abandoned them. They did find a pastor to perform the services. And that dream has just stayed with me for this time.
Okay, so you didn't see any blood, right?
No, sir.
No blood? Okay. Typically in dreams, when you see somebody dying, you see blood, that means they're probably going to die. When you don't see blood, everybody's going to die at some time. But the dream's not about them dying. It's about a whole different issue. So this dream is basically, if I can boil it down to like 3 or 4 major points. One, for you, you're in a multicolored dress. That means there is multiple ways that God is going to give you wisdom how to handle what he has just shown you. Because you put the dress on, right? Okay, so the multicolored dress, multi-wisdom or understanding in the ways you're going to handle the situation. Number 2, the children that were there indicate the fruit of what they had been given, fed. So deformity, because they had not been fed the pure food or word. Number 2, Laodicea said that they were rich, but they were poor. And the inside of the house says, I'm rich, but everybody knows it's poor. And then number 3, it basically says one of 2 things is going to happen. Either that view of philosophy will change, or the ministry will not exist much longer. That's the essence of what that means. And the star that paid for the funeral basically means that he had attached himself to a natural star. Meaning things that are meant to make you look good. So, that's the meaning of the dream. Okay? I'm sorry, what? Oh, the casket being used. The casket being used is basically indicates that other men before him have had the same problem. And they all passed away. It all demised. They all had the same end as he had. Yes.
What does she do with that dream?
What do you do with that dream? Nothing. Nothing. And here's why. Because you'll be given multiple levels of understanding at the needed time what to say. The idea is to stop that perspective and be a change agent so that it makes a change. So God is going to allow you at various times to give input into this pastor that will give the best opportunity for change to that pastor. The worst thing you could do is to say something, because then if you divulge it, you become under the same judgment. See? It's not the judgment, it's not judgment of what he did. It's anything that you have done that is likewise. None of us are holy. None of us are perfect. So anything that we do that is not perfect in God then gets judged because we didn't handle this correctly. So it's very important. Why did God give it to you? Because he thinks you can do it. And I think if God thinks so, I think so. Okay? Yes.
Hi. I'm standing on